Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Positive Success Show. I'm your host, Dominique Narciso, and I'm a success coach for high achievers living abroad. I help you redefine personal and professional success so that you can create a simple lifestyle with more income, impact, and freedom. So today, I'd love to introduce to you our special guest, Luciane Borges. She's a personal branding and LinkedIn expert. She's originally from Brazil and currently here in South Korea, but has her own portable business. So welcome, Luciane, to the show. I can't wait to chat with you and learn more about your journey and just your awesome story.
Wow, thanks for having me. It's really an honor to be part of this episode of the Positive Success Show. I love the name. And seriously, so sparkling. It's like, and especially in the beginning of the year, that it kinds of the word is urges for positive thinking, positive words, positive attitudes. Though, so it's really a pleasure to be part of this podcast, especially in this year, and also congrats on your idea and all the efforts you are putting together to bring to your audience, to bring to your community, insightful tips, cases, transforming stories, and all kind of impactful examples to your community. This is very, very nice.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that. And that's exactly why I started this show, is to show others that there is a way to reach success, but also keeping in mind your well-being and your wellness.
Yeah.
And so for you, Luciane, you've been such an inspiration to me. I first met you when we were doing live workshops. She was doing this amazing workshop on LinkedIn and just how to use LinkedIn to the max, and like the real estate that you have when you're like introducing yourself, those first two lines, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's so much. But Luciane, thank you for really helping me open my eyes to my own LinkedIn account, which I didn't touch for years. And so I'd love to know, how did you make that big transition from corporate life to having your own portable business?
Okay. Well, it's been almost 2 years. Can you believe on that? Of that first that we met each other. It's really incredible. So let me go back a little bit. I would say that I'm kind of a change maker because changing has been part of my life since my childhood. And I think it's because the idea of keeping doing the same for the entire life kind of scares me. So I'm always searching for different perspectives, different opportunities. This is kind of it's a pure natural characteristic. So, but and I can tell you that I've been moving and changing since moving from my hometown in all my 20s up to got divorced in my 40s. And then I fall in love with a foreigner. One day I was told, honey, we are moving out. So the most challenging and rewarding time of my life began, I would say. And back then it's been like 7 years, almost 7 years. And I could not have foreseen the journey I would go on, the people I would encounter like you, the person I would become, and my life would ever be the same since that word, oh, we are moving out. And then it comes the story of my business, because I used to say it's the kind of a love story, because I used to be career-oriented PR and communication for corporate business, and I was holding a management position after almost 23 years in the corporate business, and I had to give up, and I couldn't. I had to choose follow my heart or keep pursuing and all the ladders in my career. So I decided to follow my heart, and then I see myself here, like it's from Brazil. It's exactly the opposite side of the world. And there's no place I can go further from in Korea and Brazil. So I saw myself in the other side of the opposite side of the world. And I start to kind of the first step, I would say, I start to identify the fears. What am I gonna do? How it's gonna be my life from now on? And then I kind of found overcome some fears, and I decided to use my skills, knowledge, expertise, and all the strength that I had, and decide to become a personal branding coach, or like a LinkedIn personal branding. There are lots of different names for what I'm doing, but I'm basically helping people to brand themselves.
Mhm.
I'm helping clients to build a strong online brand, and that leads to more either career or business opportunities. So that's why I became a LinkedIn's expert and digital leadership mentor. And I love to do this. It's so rewarding. And at the beginning, seriously, at the beginning, I started thinking that I was teaching people a bunch of tools, a bunch of plans on how to build your career, your personal brand. But then, alongside all those years, I realized that I am really capable of doing impactful things for people's life. So this is magical, because it's pretty much like what you're doing. We have this opportunity to make people or find what they are, first of all, what they are afraid of, overcome their fears, their inner criticism, and understand what they can keep doing. So that's my story.
It's your story, Luciane, is like the story of many professionals that move abroad,
Yeah.
and they have to suddenly transition and develop a new identity, and you don't even realize that you lose your identity when you move to a new country, and that's what happened to me. That's what I wrote about in my book, and all of these, these fears that you talk about. And so I'd like to pinpoint on that, like, how did you actually overcome your fear? What did you do, if you can recall, like, what did you do to step from I don't know what to do to I'm going to take the first step? Because from an entrepreneurial standpoint, for me, that was the hardest, to get from I don't know if I can do it to actually doing something.
Wow, we self knowledge. It's really important. This is, I would say, it's a key element, but it's a key element. Self knowledge. It's a key element, but doesn't make you do the move, make the move. But I would say that talk like having a deep conversation, with your inner criticism.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, that you are those voices and these fears and all this procrastination and all this kind of things that are holding me back. Let's have a deep conversation. I know you've been part of my life, uh, and you still be part of my life, but from now on I need to focus on something that will going to bring me joy and fulfillment, and where I can, in a opportunity or a job or a work in which I can explore my creativity and be myself. So I think that was the hardest part. Of course, it doesn't have like for one simple conversation. It's not like that, but this is important. Okay, it's especially online, especially because I started online, and this is quite interesting. When I first recorded my first move on my YouTube channel, and it was so like so I had like, seriously, I think I recorded like more than 12 times, and editing and changing. No, this is not good, this is not good. And then I stopped and I said, oh, okay, stop a little bit and think about it. You have a huge audience. You don't even know the size of your audience, because you can either have a few people watching you, or you can have a viral move outside and out there, and it can be viral, and you don't know the size of your audience. But one thing that you have to understand is you cannot like be the person for all people in the world. You have to find your niche. You have to find that part of professionals that require your knowledge, that will believe in you, will enjoy your voice, will enjoy your appearance, will enjoy being with you online. So first, stop the inner criticism. That's what I think was the most important. And it's amazing, because exactly this first video is the most seen video in my YouTube channel, and I have more than 50 videos, and that specific one is the one that has much more views. And so I think this is the point. Like, okay, you are here, my inner critic, but be a little bit quiet now, because I have to work. I have to follow my dreams. I have to do something. Otherwise, I will get depressed. I will get like crazy, and that was not my.
And no, that's like, I think you've hit it. Like, that is exactly it. I think a lot of people face is that inner voice that's saying, you can't do it. You're not ready yet. You need another certification. You need to do X, Y, Z, you know, like, and I face that all the time. I mean, every level you get to, that inner critic still comes back and saying like, are you ready? Are you really ready? And thank you for sharing that, because I think that is it. Like, if you can put that voice aside and just go and do the work, whatever needs to happen is going to happen. And then you're going to see the positive outcomes of your actions. I love that. I love that. So tell me, Luciane, how did you?
And you also have the one period right after the beginning, when you start launching your business and your product and your offer to the market, because you start questioning yourself, oh, am I an imposter? And I have enough to give to people, to sell to people. And then you realize that you do know a lot. Yes, that you can help people with your knowledge, with your expertise. Of course, you can keep learning, because this is part. It would be very boring if you hadn't to keep learning. But it's all those voices, they come and go all the time, and it's kind of a daily based fight. Yes.
No, I totally, I am there with you. I think it's, but I mean, but then I think, Luciane, what's so infectious about you is that you bring so much light and joy to the work that you do. And that's why, like, I'm inspired by what you do, because you love what you do. And I think for anyone listening or watching, if you're around people that love what they do, it is infectious. You just want to be around them more, and you feel good and you feel light. And that's what life is supposed to be like. Yeah. It's supposed to feel light. If it doesn't feel light, then something has to change. That is also my personal realization in life is, if things feel really heavy, what do I need to shift in myself or my career or my relationships to make things feel lighter? So Luciane, when I watch you and you're up there and you're teaching about LinkedIn and you're just having a blast, and I'm like, I need to get to know this lady. So how did you specifically choose LinkedIn? And if you can share like 2 or 3 ideas about how LinkedIn can be very beneficial to someone who is looking to maybe start something new or get a new promotion, like I guess let's get into the personal branding aspect.
Yeah.
How do we, this is your expertise.
I used to be a PR and communication executive. So I used to work with a range of medias in order to create an engagement between the brand and their followers or consumers or clients and all stakeholders. So it was part of my expertise already. So I just moved up from the corporate business to a portable business, much more focused on personal brand instead of corporate brand. And because I was in communication, and I used to work most of the time for B2B company. And back then they were not that strong on social media. And I knew when I had that point of understanding, what am I going to do from now on? I knew that social media was a gap in my career. I had to learn more about social media. Because like media training and communication and blogs and all kinds of media, I was pretty much aware of, but I had this gap on social media. And when I start looking for, okay, we had Facebook, Instagram was not as strong as now back then. And I'm not talking about like 2 decades. I'm talking about 5 years, 6 years ago. And Instagram was not that strong. Facebook was very strong. And LinkedIn was pretty much in the middle. But I am not, I don't have, I'm not even a consumer of makeup and lots of things. And I don't have the cute face to sell makeup on Instagram or on YouTube. This is not me. I don't know. That's what's very important. And I start looking inside me and, okay, what do I have? What are my strengths? What do I have? What kind of expertise I have? And then I can sell this expertise to people that I require or need this kind of knowledge. And then because I spent like more than 20 years in corporate business, I said, okay, I think my style, my knowledge, the way I position myself, it's much more for LinkedIn than other social media. That's why I picked LinkedIn, because it's more corporate style, and this is my style. And
yeah, no, that's great. And
oh, and about the 3 aspects of LinkedIn. Well, first of all, LinkedIn, we have to say LinkedIn as a networking platform. It's not a job searching platform, although they have positioned themselves as a very strong job seeking platform. It's not for looking for a job. It's not a marketing or sales platform. It's a networking platform. And when you understand that you are there to connect with people, to exchange knowledge, exchange experience, exchange opportunities, not only to ask for help, but exchange. I think this is the word I would consider as also as a key element. And so it's a networking platform, but it's also a social media managed by an algorithm. So in order to get the best out of the platform, you have to not have a deep knowledge of how the algorithm works, but at least understand how it's managed, how are they manage the background of your influence. And it's not only about posting, it's also about connection, it's also about engagement. So when you understand how the system works, you can find other features or more features to start building your influence online. And the third one, I would say that it's very dynamic. Yeah. So once you have your profile, you have all the profile fixed and polished. Okay, 6 months or 3-4 months or 1 year, you can, after that, you can like look again, like take a look and see what you can improve, how you can you can keep polishing your profile, because it's not dynamic. It's not static. It's very dynamic. And you have this feature of always improve your profile. So keep improving your profile, look as an engagement and networking, and understand how the algorithm works. I would say that's the 3 major points of LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. And So for you as an entrepreneur, do people find you on, I mean, obviously on LinkedIn, and then they connect with you and ask for your services? Is that, I mean, you really use the platform for that, or how do you?
Oh, yes. So my 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 knowledge, my product, what I sell, it's pretty much brand, online and personal brand on LinkedIn. I don't understand that much about other social media, although I use them, but I don't understand in deep enough to teach people how to use.
Yeah.
So, and but I also have my own blog. I also have my YouTube channel, and you know, because actually the algorithm itself, it works based on how the audience reacts to your content. So how my community or my audience reacts to my content on my blog, on my YouTube channel, or either in my LinkedIn or other social media. So I pretty much, I would say that I spend, let's say, 60% of all my efforts on LinkedIn, but I also split the rest between my blog and my YouTube channel. I'm not that strong on Instagram or Facebook. And people keep asking me, oh, why you are not that strong on those social media? Because I don't need.
But it makes sense for your branding, right? Like you're a LinkedIn expert, so that's what you use. You use LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn. You
Yeah.
understand how the machine works and all of
So
that.
yeah. So and then that maybe if it was harder, it's to get clients to grow my business, then I would use. And also I think it's a different audience and so on. And exactly what you said. If I'm selling the expertise of getting job or career opportunities or business opportunities on LinkedIn, it kind of doesn't make sense. Keep doing this, keep showing, um, uh, demonstrate my work or my knowledge on other social media. So it's pretty much, I use pretty much LinkedIn, my own blog, and my YouTube channel. But I would say that my plan for 2021 and my strategy would be like breaking a little bit more and like putting a little bit more efforts on YouTube, because streaming definitely is gonna take the place, take the business. It's gonna be the platform to increase any kind of business.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. Oh my gosh, everyone, just keep watching what Luciane's doing and just get tips from her. Luciane, one question or one question I get from audience members, from coaching clients about social media in general, and a lot of them use LinkedIn. They say, how do you know when you're sharing too much or you're putting too much out there? Like there's this fine line or this idea, like if I keep putting, my accomplishments out there, it might seem like I'm trying to be too showy. So how would someone reconcile that with, I don't know, like, because I think there's the online, how you present yourself online, then how you present yourself in the real world, right? So it's like there's this balance or this dance, or even we're still learning as humans, how do we not flaunt what we're good at, but be genuine and authentic wherever we're showing our content or what we're doing or what we're excited about.
Wow, that's a really, really nice question. And I would say that we can separate the answer in two moments. Let's take the moment before the pandemic, where people had the opportunity to meet in face to face, to go in offline, to take part of events and so on, to travel. That was much more scary for people. I have a lot of clients, most of them C-level executives, and they and some of them told me, okay, I don't like, I'm afraid of being too much show off. What am I gonna say? I don't want to look like I'm posting all the time. And that's exactly the trick of personal brand. And I you don't need to show yourself. You don't need to keep showing yourself. You need to be present online. That's fine. That the algorithm is gonna check this, whether you like or not. So you have to. But you can talk about other, like a range of topics.
Yeah.
So if you are, let's say, um, human resource executive,
Mhm.
but you can talk about leadership, you can talk about diversity, you can talk about um, um, ladder the career in the professional career. You can talk about sustainability. You can talk about communication. You can, about employer brand. So there are lots of subjects
Mm.
and that you understand, that you can talk about, that you can kind of use them as a slogan for your personal branding. Those kind of subjects are interesting, because if every day you are posting about yourself, posting about yourself, it's kind of it's boring in a sense. I know that people love to see and to understand, and they are curious about people's life, but especially on LinkedIn, other social media can do much more this, but on LinkedIn, as you, I would say that 80% of your content would be related with business or would be related with career. It's not that you cannot talk about yourself, but let's put this way. But in those 80% content that are interesting to your audience, like kind of split them. And you can talk, you like, for example, you can talk about motivation, you can talk about positive think, you can talk about happiness, you can talk about overcome fear. So there are a range of themes that you can talk about. And once, that's why it's quite interesting when you understand your audience and you build that community, because once you have a community and you have an audience that is interesting in those subjects and those themes that you are capable of talking and capable of influence, so then you have the match.
Mm.
So if you, that's why it's important to have a overview of the platform, of the algorithm, because, and also in your community. So who is your community? How is your connection or your audience was built? What kind of person is there? What kind of subject they are interested? So this is one point. And the other point is, well, the algorithm will check that. If you are posting, it's gonna be checked. So there's no way to escape. And I don't know, I don't have this answer. I think this is the $1 million question. And why some kind of content have much more engagement than others? Well, it could be the time that you are posting, the competition. Maybe you are posting like this week, for example, that we are having lots of political issues around the world. So I've been noticed that whatever you post now, people's mind are kind of not interested in that kind of subject this week. I might post the same content like 2 weeks from now, and I would see a different engagement. So there is no right answer, right recipe, and the guarantee of how your audience is going to react to your content. What I am 100% sure is, if you are not present online, someone is going to be present, and someone is going to take the tiny piece of your audience mind, and it's like mind share. It's not market share, it's mind share. And if you're not there, you might miss a lot of opportunities. So it has to be balanced.
I heard that word in another in this other seminar that I was listening to about having mind share. And I'm like, oh, that is such a good, because that's like your attention, right? Who has your attention? And no, you cannot have people's attention, or you cannot influence others if you're just not present.
Yeah.
And if you're not present online, don't expect to have online influence if that is what you want to build out, especially in this post-pandemic online world.
pandemic, it's a little bit easier because I like just continue my answer, because now it's easier because you have no other opportunity. You have no other chance. You have to have it. The only chance you have to talk to people, to meet people, to get to know, to opportunities and engagement. It's online. There's no other way to do that. So I think it's psychologically it's easier now than before the pandemic.
And so, Luciane, two last questions. What do you do to stay positive when you face setbacks?
Well, I would say that, well, first of all, I'm sure that seeing life and its ups and downs always based on positive thing would be a very helpful step. So I am like this. I have two options. I can see the positive side and the negative. So I'm pretty much more leaning to the positive side. And of course, it's kind of almost humanly impossible to be happy all the time. But I would say that this is pretty practical, and learning how to deep breath exactly at the moment you feel yourself stressed out. It's awesome. It helps a lot. And seriously, I wish someone had taught me that at the beginning of my journey, like when I started my career, because I wasn't like that. It was a very stressful person. Of course, as you grow and you get mature and you get like this experience, you start to understand your surrounds and how things are going to work out pretty much. But I would say that breathing is very helpful to deal with stressful events. And also you can choose, you can look to the positive side or negative side.
It's so simple, right? It's so simple.
Well, it's so simple, but it's kind of a daily fighting.
No, it's like you're fighting your inner critic. You have to choose between positive and negative. And then, when you're really stressed out, how can you like breathe through that emotion or breathe through that event? I too, like you, used to be like super stressed out at work just because I'm high achiever, high performer.
Yeah.
And I realized like when you're going 120 miles per hour every day, it's just not sustainable.
No.
And I can't even imagine like in that corporate environment where like, you're managing like, big accounts and pushing things forward. So thank you for sharing your well-being strategies. Take a deep breath and think of the positive.
It's way easier to say and to advise than do. But this is really something that I wish someone had taught me in the beginning of my journey, because it's pretty much the handy and the only thing that you have in that moment. Then you can, okay.
Yeah.
You have to leave a meeting and then go to the bathroom and the breath. I think it's very helpful.
That's great.
And also believe in yourself and be positive. But all those things that are less, not that breathing is touchable, but you can feel breathing. You can't feel the positive thing. You can't feel your mind change. So that's why I think it's helpful, at least for me, at least for my style.
That's great. And what is your definition of success?
Wow, actually, the pure the well-known definition of success is the accomplish of an aim, of a purpose, or this kind, whatever you want. But for me, I definitely think that it's being able to do something that kind of maximizing my potential and my creativity in a meaningful way. And at the same time of providing me the freedom, lifestyle, and experience that I desire. And it's kind of, having like that feeling, the daily feeling of joy and fulfillment in your work and beyond and what you are doing. I think this is the definition of success for me now in this period of my life. And when I was in my 20s, the definition of success for me was having a manager position in a corporate business. That was the definition of success. And it can change over your life, the period of your life. But now I would say that is maximizing my potential and creativity in a meaningful way, not only because of money and any kind of reward. Of course, it's important, but it's not sustainable.
So good. I love that. I'm going to write that on a Post-it and just put it in my, right here in front of my screen. And so, Luciane, where can people find you? Where can the audience find you? How can they connect with you? What's the best way?
Oh, actually, the best way is my LinkedIn profile, definitely, especially because worldwide, my LinkedIn profile is the only platform with English content. I'm working on my blog in English and also my YouTube in English. So people can find me on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, it was such an honor, and I'm so happy. And I'm also happy for you. And I'm anxious to see your book. We couldn't get the launch of the book because of.
I know. We'll reconnect on that.
Meet very soon, and I can grab your book and read your book. And congrats on your show.
Thank you so much.